What's up, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys day number 28 in my 6th annual 31 Days of Horror. This is a series in which we watch and review 31 horror films in 31 days, all during the month of October, leading right up to Halloween. And continuing along with day number 28, I hopped on Shudder and checked out a film that I was actually very interested in seeing last year, as I did see that it made a few top 10 lists. Unfortunately, I never got around to checking it out, and I was very curious going into it if it would have actually made my list last year. And that film is The Corpse of Anna Fritz, which came out in the year 2016. I believe it got its initial release in 2015 though, but it was eligible for lists last year as it got its wide release in 2016. I'm going to be very brief on the plot to this one. Basically, it involves a hugely popular actress. It's a fictitious actress named Anna Fritz, and she is like, you know, the biggest thing in the world, and she dies. Basically, her body is taken to a morgue in which a young man who's supposed to do the autopsy snaps a picture of her because he can't believe that he has Anna Fritz in his workplace. He sends it to his two friends, who decide to show up at the morgue, in which they all three decide to check out the body and eventually decide to rape the body. So it has to do with necrophilia. I will leave the plot off right there because anything after that is kind of a spoiler. This film is very short. It only runs an hour and 14 minutes. Very disturbing. Obviously anytime you deal with necrophilia or, having sex with dead people, it's a disturbing type of film. I am surprised that it wasn't as graphic as you would expect for a film that's plot relies so heavily on that aspect of the film. It's actually shot in a way to where it's not as graphic as you might think, but definitely still very impactful. I'll say that I really liked this movie. It is a easy watch. It wasn't as disturbing as I expected. There was one minor plot detail that is left unexplained, and I kind of wish they would have explained it, because this detail hinges on the entire outcome of the film. So I was a little disappointed that they didn't shed some light on that. But you can still have essentially the same film without it. It just leaves a big unanswered question. So I'll say that I thought the acting in this film was really great. There was one scene in particular that I thought was very well acted. And one performance in particular that I thought was very well acted. Another scene in the film I thought was shot kind of bad. Basically involves a character dying and due to head trauma, and the way that it's shot, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make that much sense that it would happen the way that it did, but that was kind of a minor inconsistency there. For the most part, I really enjoyed this film. I do not think it would have made my top 10 last year, but it was probably close to being on the cusp. I'm going to come in at a 7.5 out of 10. I highly recommend checking it out just because it's a very unique film. Super low budget, at least it seems like it. And it was primarily shot in one location. It's kind of a contained horror film, so I always really, really like those films. So The Corpse of Anna Fritz, check it out, 7.5 out of 10. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another review. Peace.